What is up, fam? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I am so excited to bring you today's episode because it's something that I think about all the time and it gets me really juiced. So today is January 23rd. And one of the things that I've noticed since being back from Christmas and the holiday and New Year's, which we took off, we actually take off the week between Christmas and New Year's every year. Neither here nor there, but it's important to know because if you're not under care in our office, then what you may realize or may not realize is that mostly every single person that we take care of comes into our office once a week to get adjusted. And now some people may ask the question of like, why would you come once a week? Like, why would you need to go see a chiropractor once a week? And my question to you would be, why do you need to eat healthy multiple times a week? Or why do you need to drink water every day, multiple times a day? Or why would you go to the gym multiple times a week? And the reality is that you do those things because you want to stay healthy. And the people that we take care of inside of our office realize and understand that having a healthy brain, having a highly functioning brain and nervous system is what allows them to stay healthy, to continue to doing things that they love to do inside of their life, so they don't feel like they're falling apart, so they can operate at the highest level, so they can express life, so that they can express vitality, so that they can do the things they love to do for the long haul, which is ultimately what chiropractic care is really all about. Now, what's interesting about this is I bring this up and I'm getting fired up about it. It's having me think of this thought that actually happened to me just a few days ago. So I was down at my beach bluff, not in my office, but in my neighborhood. And at the beach bluff, one of the things that we do is we stand up on top of it and we look at the waves. And there's a couple different spots where we can, from the right angle, you can see all the surf spots that I would normally go to surf at the beach that I love to surf at locally. And so I'm standing there, it's super early in the morning, like the sun hasn't even come up yet, but it's a little bit light outside. And I see this guy, who just clearly got done with a run. He's got sweat all over his shirt and he walks by me. And I don't think anything of it, I'm trying to check out the waves and I'm a little bit bummed because there really aren't that many waves, the tide's too high, the wind's a little bit on the water, and so not really ideal surfing conditions. And I turn around and this guy's like pretty close to me, staring at me, looking at me. And I realized like, oh, this is a friend, someone who I know. And it's just a hilarious story. It's like I start chatting with him and we're like cordial with each other, and then he says, I'm like, oh, do you surf? Because he was talking about the tide being too high. And like a lot of people just don't have that understanding that the tide's got to be right and the wind's got to be right and there's got to be swell in the water and there's a lot of conditions that have to happen for surfing. Anyway, neither here nor there, this isn't about surfing, but I asked him, I'm like, do you surf? And he's like, yeah, I used to, but I got this bum knee, and then my back, like I can get in the water for about 15 minutes, and then I like have to get out because my back hurts so bad. And in my head, I didn't say this to him because I know him well, he knows me well, he knows what I do for a living. In my head, I'm like, I know a really good chiropractor. Now, I kept myself from saying that because it's not about me, and I just wanted to hear his story and be with him and just kind of, shower him in love. But it really had me thinking about this concept of what happened in my time off from the office. So what I started thinking about when I'm hearing this conversation and I'm reflecting back on it, and it's just like such a bummer to me to hear someone my same age who's like, oh, I can't surf because my back hurts too bad, or I can't do this thing, or I can't pick up my kids this way, or I can't hold my newborn baby for too long, or I can't bend over to put him in the crib. It's like all of this stuff that we should be able to do as human beings for like a really long time. People can't do it. And quite frankly, it pisses me off and it makes me upset. And it's not because I'm mad. It's not because I have a problem with him, but it's just such a frustrating aspect and place to be in where it's like, I know what we do inside of my office could completely transform his life. Like he could be out there surfing with his kiddo, like teaching his kids how to surf and being active and like playing on life full out. But instead it's like, I'm just going to build a big business, but my back's too hurt to really do anything other than just like jog around the neighborhood a couple times. And so again, it's not about him. Like I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to talk poorly, but this idea comes up that one of the reasons we take care of people in our office the way that we do is so that they can continue to do the stuff that they love without falling apart. So here's what happened. The week I get back from our week off from practice, there are multiple, I'm talking like can count on more than two hands, people who are saying these same things to me. They're like, man, I did not realize how well I function until I stopped coming here once a week, until I was off for a week. And they're like, I literally had one guy, this is what he said to me. He's like, dude, I've been crushing in my workouts. And he's lost a ton of weight. He looks amazing. He's super shredded. And I'm sitting there and I'm adjusting him, and he's like, man, I noticed this past week when I wasn't in here, he's like, I was so sore. My muscles were sore, and it was taking me like 3 days to recover. And he's like, dude, before when I was in here, he's like, I'm recovering quick. Like, I'm literally recovering the same night. Like, I'll feel my muscles sore that night, and then when I wake up in the morning, I'm totally back to normal again. And so I explained to him, is like, listen, this is what happens when you have a highly functioning nervous system, because your nervous system, your brain, tells your body to heal. Your brain either breaks down muscle tissue or builds up muscle tissue. Your brain via stress hormones, via some other things. And so your brain controls literally every cell, tissue, organ in your entire body. And so that's just one example, but so many people's like, man, I just felt brain foggy this week, or man, I just felt XYZ this week, and I didn't feel like myself, and I feel I had so much more energy. And the reality is like, the reason that people experience that when they miss a week is because what they're experiencing is the difference between operating at 95% and 100%. It's plain and simple. And we see it with so many people that we take care of, is like they start functioning at a certain level, and then they get so used to it that they forget that where they ever were in the first place. And I had this conversation with another mom this week. She's like, dude, you literally have the hardest job ever, because she's like, you're performing literal miracles, which I'm not the healer, by the way, so I will put that out there. This is not about me. I am not the greatest chiropractor. I am not the greatest doctor. Your body is the healer. Your body is the best doctor, but it does that with a healthy functioning nervous system, which is what I am good at, is getting your body to wake up the nervous system. That's it. Your body does healing. So anyway, this mom says to me, she's like, dude, you literally are performing like miracles with people. And they get to a place where they forget how healthy they are, and then they just disappear on you. Or you have to convince them that it's working again. And the reality is, like, from this week off that we took just a couple weeks ago, so many people coming into us verified like everything I know to be true about chiropractic. That it is all about function. It's functioning at 100%. It's about living life full out. It's about expressing full life, because the reality is that you can't play offense and defense. In any sport, you can't play offense and defense at the same time. Like, it's literally just not possible. And so the same thing is true with your body. In fight or flight, your body is in defense and protection. In rest and digest, your body is in offense and growth and life, and you can't be in both simultaneously. So when people come to me and they're like, man, I didn't operate this week because I missed a week. It's like, yeah, because our natural tendency is to be in a stressed out state, because we have so many stresses in our lives today. And if we have more stresses, then we do things to bring our nervous system back into a rest and digest state, then our natural operating level is going to be to play defense. And you can't usually score on defense. You can't usually win games just on defense alone. You got to have offense at some point. And so this is what we do with people. Like, forgive me for the sports analogy. I'm not even really a sports guy, but I at least understand it to know that, like, it takes a lot of energy to play defense. It takes a lot of energy to play offense. You can't do both at the same time, but I would rather be scoring and building up than breaking and tearing down and protecting. And this is exactly what we bring the body and the brain into. And so circling back is like, as I'm sitting here on this beach bluff having a conversation with a friend of mine, I'm just like, dude, your body is in such protective defensive mode that it won't even allow you to be on a surfboard for more than 15 minutes. And the reality is there's an easy way out of it, because what we know is that your brain tells your muscles what to do. And if we don't address the brain, then your muscles, no matter how much you stretch, no matter how much you foam roll, no matter how much you go get your IV injections, no matter how much you go to cryotherapy, no matter how much you go to the cold plunge, no matter how much you sit in the infrared sauna, no matter how many of the hacks that you try and use, it's not going to work unless you address your brain. And there's only one way that I know of to effectively get your brain to wake up and turn off a fight or flight response and turn on a rest and digest response, and that is movement of the joints of the spine through chiropractic adjustments. Super cool study just came out that literally says that, like, one of the coolest things about chiropractic care is that it only gets an effect on the brain in places where the body actually needs to be adjusted in the first place. Meaning that it takes away all of the stuff that you see on Instagram with, like, the chiropractors popping both sides of the back, everything in the middle, everything in the neck, is like half of that stuff is doing no benefit. It just looks cool or sounds cool on a video. And so being pinpoint precise with where people are getting adjusted, this is why I can't pop my own neck and adjust myself, is because I have to know exactly which joints of the spine need to be moved in the first place. And this is what we do with everybody that we take care of. So my encouragement for you is this, is that chiropractic care, while we can help with it, is not about neck pain, back pain, headaches. It's about expression of life. If you're looking for a higher level of expression of life, then I would encourage you to get on the train of an actual healthcare system that addresses health in your body instead of addressing sickness. It's the same reason that you work out every week. It's the same reason that you eat healthy every week. It's the same reason that you do things like meditate, is because those things are designed to be healthy for us if we focus on the right things. And the same is true with a healthy functioning brain. The only way to have a healthy functioning brain is to get the joints of your spine moving well. Moving well is key, and that's what all the research says. So my friends, I love you. I appreciate you. Get out there, get moving, find yourself a good chiropractor so that you can wake up to another level of life that you didn't even know existed, because I can tell you from the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that we have taken care of inside of my office, there's one thing that holds true, is that everybody says, I didn't even know that I wasn't functioning well until I started showing up here, and now I can immediately tell the difference when I'm gone for a week. That's all I have for you. Hope you got some value out of it. I'll come at you again next week. Peace.